ladies and gentlemen, let's begin playing America's and the world's favorite game show. It's Name That List! Ba-ba-ba-da, ba-ba-ba-da. With me, your host, Pollock. Here we are. It's Name That List. Yes, we're doing it. It's happening. It's for real. And it's episode 6. Use your eyes. That's right, we're switching up the formula once again, and this time we're going pure visual, baby. You need your eyeballs for the entire duration of this entire game show, and hopefully it'll be a good time. And for our YouTube audience watching in the future, we'll add a timer before every question to make sure you have some time to also play along and see how many points you would get theoretically. So keep that pause button available at all times. But yeah, so let's go ahead and jump. As per usual, we only have 2 parts for this episode. The first part is, what is this a list of? And it's generally miscellaneous. There are 10 questions, and each question is worth 3 points, so 30 points in general. The rules are as follows. I present a list of 5 images, which are heavily pixelated. Contestants guess what this is a list of, and each contestant who guesses correctly wins 3 points. All right, let's go. I am super excited. Let's make it happen. Starting with question number 1. What is this a list of? Traffic signs. Yes, everybody gets it in chat. Everybody gets it. It's super obvious, of course. This is a list of traffic signs. Yes, we're starting off super easy, just to get you sort of in the mood of the kinds of questions that are going to be coming up. Now I think with the visuals, it's a bit clearer, of course, isn't it? Okay, cool. Amazing, amazing, incredible. Head bop. Let's do it, let's do it. Question 2. What is this a list of? That's right. This is a list of national flags. Yes, yes, yes. I tried to trip you up with Nepal, the classic, and tried to go a little bit, a little bit varied. I see Canada? Oh, Canada gave it away? Okay, fair enough. But yeah, so we got Nepal, Namibia, Canada, South Korea, and of course, Belarus, baby! Boom, bam, 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 bam. Next question. Question 3. What is this a list of? That's absolutely correct. This is a list of Avengers, specifically from the MCU, but, that's because they're the most popular ones. But yeah, these are Avengers, yeah. Next question. Question 4. What is this a list of? Yeah, monuments is interesting. I'm not sure if monuments counts. I guess it depends on your definition of the word monuments. Raccoon pissing grounds? Yes! Perfect, yes! Places pigeons shit on. Yeah, no. No. Okay, so for anyone who, I guess we'll see if you deserve points or not. This is a list of landmarks, specifically. And these are the landmarks. Yeah, you have the Jesus from Rio de Janeiro, the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty, the Pyramids of Giza, and the Taj Mahal. That's what the answers are. So, I don't know if the pyramids or the Taj Mahal count as monuments per se, because the Taj Mahal was an actual palace, and the pyramids were a tomb. They weren't monuments per se, right? I don't know if that counts. Would you describe? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because in some ways they're both monuments to the respective cultures that they came from now, but they weren't designed for that purpose. I don't know if that it's up to you. I'll be generous. If you want points, I'll give you points. Question 5. What is this a list of? Everybody gets it in chat once again. Super obvious. This is in fact a list of South Park characters. Yes. Yes, indeed. Zabby says, this is insultingly easy. Yeah. This entire round is pretty easy. I just wanted to sort of ease everybody into the idea, but the question should be getting harder moving forward. But I'll be perfectly honest with you. I tried really hard to make this one difficult. The problem is that this is already 1% of the original size. like, in order to make it smaller, I would have to, like, reduce it in size and then reduce it again. But either way, unfortunately, the way that the South Park characters are designed, their bright colors really, like, clash together, and so it's easy to mix them up. Question 6. What is this a list of? Everybody gets it, yeah. Again, there's not really many ways that I could have made this more difficult. Indeed, this is a list of planets. You got it, it's planets. Yeah. Just take your bloody fucking points. We're still in technical alpha, okay? Okay? Name that list is still in technical alpha. I'm gonna maintain that for as long as I care to. Basically forever. Anyway, it's fine. It's planets, easy peasy. Moving on. Question 7, what is this a list of? Congratulations, if you got it right, this is a list of Super Mario characters. That's what this is. Super Mario, baby! Yes! No soup for you! Yes. That's hot. I'm gonna level with you guys. With this one, I had to get real tricky. Because some of them, like, most of these are 1% of their original size. Some of them are 2%. So for example, Daisy is 2%. Bowser is 1%, because if I put him at 2% its original size, I thought it was going to be too easy, you know? That was hard? Yeah, that was a tough one. It's, again, because these characters are also designed to be, like, immediately eye-catching. If the resolution is too good, the distinction between the colors becomes too easy, and at that point, yeah. It's too easy to get the silhouette. Question 8. What is this a list of? This is a list of car brands. That's what this is. Car brand logos, I should say. Yeah, it should have been like car brand logos, but anyway, there you go, yeah. Yeah, I think for this one, I adjusted them all to the same proportion. And so yeah, Audi and Jaguar got completely mixed out, yeah. Impossible, you think? I don't think it's impossible. I think that the Ferrari and the Volkswagen one could have probably given it away, but yeah, maybe if the Jaguar and the Audi one were a bit higher resolution, I think it would have been possible, yeah. 2 more questions to go. Here we go. Question 9. What is this a list of? This is a list of the Pokemans. Yes, it's the Pokemans. Yeah. Yeah. That's what this is. The one that was difficult was Pikachu. Pikachu is so distinct that even at like 2%, I think like all of these are 2% of their original size, but Pikachu had to be 1% because 2% was too much of a dead giveaway, I feel. That's what I remember. Yeah. Because like he's so distinct. And then of course, yeah, you have Charizard, Lucario, I forget what this one's called. Gary, whatever, something like that. And then we have Pikachu and one of the EV transformations. Umbreon, I think it's called? Yeah. What's the green one called? I forget. Anyway, comment in the comments what the name of the Pokemon is. That's my form of engagement. Anyway. Okay, last question. Last question in part 1. Question 10. What is this a list of? My friends, this is a list of the memes. The memers, yes, the memers. Yes. Icon has cheeseburger, one of the early, ancient memes from back in the day. No bitches, a bit of a more, modern one, I guess you could say. I tried to, spread it out into, throughout the entirety of memestory to give everyone a fighting chance. Of course, Doge, Awkward Monkey, and of course, our personal favorite, Surprise Pikachu. Yes. I feel like this is a DMVI test. Can you imagine can you imagine you go to the eye doctor, and instead of having letters on the board, it's like, can you identify those memes? Doge, Dat Boy, No Bitches, Surprise Pikachu, and no one, literally no one with, yeah. Oh god, that'd be so good. That would be so good. Oh, that'd be amazing. Anyway. Okay, let's move on then. Let's move on to part 2. So that was sort of the warm-up round. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. This is the one that I actually am super excited for. This is part 2. It's a Need I Go On, which was one that we've done before, of famous paintings. There are also 10 questions for a grand total of 50 points, potentially, that you can win. So, the rules are as follows. I present you a list of 5 portions of a famous painting, but only one at a time. And by portions, what I mean is like a tiny, tiny little segment of it. You'll see. Contestants then guess either the name of the painting or the name of the artist. I'll accept either or, but they have to be like exactly correct. At every level, contestants can guess the answer once or pass. And if all contestants pass, the next level is revealed. And guessing correctly at the first level earns you 5 points, reduced by 1 for each level passed after the first. So 5 points at level 1, 4 points at level 2, 3 points at level 3, etc., etc. The idea being that like if you can guess it early on, you get the maximum points, but you get more clues, which makes it easier, which reduces the point value. So pretty clear like that, yeah? Question 1. What is this a list of? Level 2. What is this a list of? Level 3. Level 4. Level 5. I mean, come on! You know it, you love it. It's the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. Yes. It's funny you mentioned it in chat before, but yes. So the official name of the painting is La Gioconda, but it's most commonly known as the Mona Lisa, which, by the way, I wonder if you know. This painting has been definitively identified to depict Italian noblewoman Lisa del Giocondo. And that's why it's called the Mona Lisa. So the official name is La Gioconda, but it depicts a certain Mona by the first name of Lisa of Giocondo. So that's a fun little trivia thing you can learn. You can, dispense at cocktail parties if you want to seem smart and cultured. It is tiny in real life in the Louvre. Oh, dude, yeah. I remember I went to see the Mona Lisa. I went to the Louvre in, I want to say 2006, thereabouts? Yeah, somewhere there, or maybe earlier. And yeah, I remember distinctly, like, going to the Louvre. Like, I remember, like, going to the Louvre and, like, zooming straight for the Mona Lisa. It was, like, in the middle of the day. And first of all, it's like this, portrait that's about, like, this size. It's hidden behind, like, 3 different sets of plates of glass. So, like, with the light refracting, you can barely see it. It's super dark. And on top of that, there's, like, an entire sea of mostly Asian tourists just snapping photos of it relentlessly. So you can't even get a good look at it. It's like, what's even the point at that point? What's even the point? But considering the fact that it once has been stolen, it makes sense that security is pretty tight. So, yeah, that is what it is. Question 2. Here we go. Question 2. What is this a list of? Level 2. Level 3. Level 4. And level 5. Yes, indeed, this is, of course, one of the seminal works of Vincent van Gogh, The Starry Night. Yes, indeed. One of his more famous works. Vincent van Gogh, of course, the tragic man who cut his own ear off and had a very, very unfortunate artist career, only appreciated very much only exclusively after his own death. But he's considered to be like one of the, maybe not pioneers, but certainly one of the mainstay staples of the Impressionist movement. I really like Impressionism because for me, I feel like Impressionism encapsulates one of the most fundamental truths of the world and our relation to it. the human brain can't help but to categorize objects in the world as individual things. Like, this is a pen. This is a glass with, a liquid, an alcoholic liquid in it. But that's not really what's happening in the real world. We know now from particle theory that what these things aren't like individual sort of enclosed objects, but collections of atoms being strung together by physical forces to produce the effect of solid objects that don't sort of blend together. And I feel like Impressionism in that regard represents that better than anything, right? Because these are not individual strokes, they are like pigmented dots. Perhaps Van Gogh's work is not the best impression of that, but like, you understand what I'm saying? That in the method of dot painting that Impressionism uses, it sort of like encapsulates the truth of the world that individual objects aren't actually solid, independent things, but rather collections of tiny, tiny particles, or atoms, I guess you could say, which could be like the dots of the world. Does that make sense? It makes sense in my head. You know what I'm saying. Don't worry about it. Okay, moving forward, question 3. Here we go. Question 3. What is this a list of? Level 2. What is this a list of? Level 3. Level 4. Level 5. This might be a little bit tricky, because I think a lot of people recognize the images, but you might not know the exact name. The official name of this painting is A Friend in Need by Cassius Marcellus Coolidge. Yeah, so most people know this as dogs playing poker. It's a bit of a misnomer. Let me show you. I have a separate little... Yeah. So Dogs Playing Poker is... it refers collectively to the 1894 painting, the poker game one, or the 1903 series of 16 oil paintings commissioned by Brown and Bigelow to advertise cigars. So Brown and Bigelow was this conglomerate that made a bunch of different products, including cigars, and they hired Cassius Marcellus Coolidge to paint 16 paintings of dogs playing poker. And I think this is the one that most people remember, called A Friend in Need. But you see there's a whole bunch that he did. 16 separate paintings. Next question, here we go. Next question. Question 4. Boom. Level 2. Level 3. What is this a list of? Level 4. And of course, the most obvious clue, level 5. I mean, it's right there, right? It's right there. Yes, indeed. This is, of course, The Girl with a Pearl Earring by Johannes Vermeer in 1665. Well, circa 1665. Back in the olden days, it was hard to keep track of the specific dates. Yep, Girl with a Pearl Earring by Johannes Vermeer. Apparently a very influential painting in the Enlightenment era for Western Europe. Honestly, I don't know much. This one I have no factoids for you, but yeah, fun stuff. Okay, question 5. What is this a list of? Level 2. Level 3. What is this a list of? Level 4. This one should give it away. Are you ready? Level 5. This one was just purely for me. This is Red Square by Kazimir Malevich in 1915. I love it so much. So here's the thing. This is kind of like a jokey, entry. However, this is actually a very influential painting. Kazimir Malevich is a renowned historical figure in the visual arts world. Here I have his Wikipedia article over here. So Kazimir Malevich, he was actually born, in 1879 in Kiev to an ethnic Polish family. So he actually, I think he like briefly might have lived in Belarus for a little bit, which is how I know about him. But he's actually a very influential painter because he is sort of regarded as the pioneer of an art style called suprematism. Not to be confused with supremacy, that's an entirely different thing. Suprematism is a sort of the logical extension of abstract art to its fullest. This painting, for example, literally called Suprematism, is considered to be like one of these sort of foundational paintings, foundational sort of art pieces that solidified Suprematism and like that version of abstract art as we know and love it today. This was a very influential piece that inspired a lot of other movements like pop art and a bunch of other ones. This might seem kind of blasé in the modern world, like, oh yeah, you just like strung a couple of rectangles and squares together. But you have to keep in mind, back in the day, back in like the early 1900s, this was considered absolutely revolutionary. Because like the closest thing to abstract art people would ever get at that point would be like Impressionism or even Surrealism at best. So it would be like familiar forms in maybe like fantastical settings in that sort of romantic sense, but nobody would ever think to just like put rectangles and sort of deal with the purely abstract understanding of visual arts. And that was the whole point of Suprematism, to try to sort of engage with abstract ideas in their most purest form by dissolving them of their real-world associations, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm describing it correctly, but yeah, so he was actually a very influential painter. Like any of these kinds of like more experimental versions of visual arts may seem kind of strange to the layperson, but they're meant to sort of expand the understanding of what it means for art to be. Like, what is art and what can art communicate? Art, as I see it, is a method of communicating abstract ideas, and how much more abstract can you get than this? So it's meant to sort of like deal with the fundamental building blocks of art as a communication tool, dismissing it entirely from any other like cultural signifiers that might sort of obscure the message, if that makes sense. That's the idea. And so, yeah, it was kind of a joke entry, but at the same time, a little bit of history for you. Kazimir Malevich is a pretty influential guy. Okay, moving forward, question 6. Question 6. What is this a list of? Level 2. Level 3. Level 4. Level 5. I mean, the fly is right there. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it is. Yeah. The official name of this painting is The Persistence of Memory by Salvador Dali, 1931. There it is. So yeah, most people remember like these melting clocks over here. Few people remember this weird infected stopwatch. I think these are supposed to be ants, but they're like blending into the watch over here. That's freaky. I remember, like, honestly, I have this interesting sort of core memory from when I was a child. I think my parents bought a bunch of Salvador Dali themed postcards, and I remember like listing through the postcards as a kid and just being fascinated by the surrealist world that I was depicting. Because like there's a bunch of paintings with like elephants with like super long legs and like weird naked ladies that are like half blending into the environment or whatever. And I was incredibly impressed by the audacity and the specificity of the creative vision that I was seeing, you know? I genuinely believe that like those early Salvador Dali paintings might have informed my entire aesthetic, just as a person, as a creative person in general. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I gravitate towards, you know? Fantastical worlds that seem real but somehow defy expectation in some way. That's always been like my thing. But anyway, it's a whole thing. All right. Question 7, here we go. Question 7. What is this a list of? Level 2? Does that help in any way? Level 3, here we go. Level 4. Level 5. The answer is, this is a list of snippets from Convergence by Jackson Pollock in 1952. This is what the whole thing looks like. It's pretty much the same thing over and over. Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, Jackson Pollock is one of those like weird guys. Yeah, here's his name. Born Paul Jackson Pollock was an American painter and major figure in the abstract expressionist movement. So we talked about like suprematism, which was the dilution of abstract forms. Expressionism was another form of abstract art where the to a certain extent the actual like wait. Oh, really? These count? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, abstract expressionism. So I guess expressionism in general is just like the idea of using bright colors and ostentatious shapes to communicate ideas, and abstract expressionism is that applied to abstract forms that you're not necessarily supposed to derive deliberate shapes from, but are meant to sort of convey more raw emotions rather than like specific storytelling elements, if that makes sense. All right, question 8. Question 8. What is this a list of? All right, level 2. Level 2. This doesn't help at all. Level 3. Does that help at all? Level 4. And of course, level 5. Had to have it. Had to have it. Yes. This is, of course, the official name of the painting is Maryland Diptych by Andy Warhol. This specifically is from 1962. So most of you might be familiar with like the superposition of a bunch of like different colorations of it. Those came later, but this is the official painting of the Marilyn Monroe diptych that Andy Warhol did. This is, of course, an offshoot of, I guess, like an art style that he more or less pioneered himself, which is pop art, if I'm not mistaken. That's the name of it. 2 questions to go. Question 9. What is this a list of? Level 2. Level 3. Level 4. And level 5. That one's pretty much a dead giveaway. Yes, this is a kind of an obscure painting, but like if you've seen it, you've seen it. This is Saturn Devouring His Son by Francisco Goya from 1823. Yes. It's just one of those like nightmare fuel kinds of paintings right there. Yeah. Is this picture even TOS? Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. It's a little butt crack. You know. It's culture, it's fine. We'll be okay. But yeah, that booty. That booty. Getting squeezed, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It is traditionally depicted as interpreted as a depiction of the Greek myth of the Titan Cronus, known as Saturn in Roman mythology, eating one of his offspring. There we go. Fearing a prophecy foretold by Goya that predicted he would be overthrown by one of his children, Saturn ate each one upon their birth. So that's the story right there. But yeah, like, that is some nightmare fuel right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's some, woof! Francisco Goya really capturing the horror of being eaten alive by a Titan. I mean, as far as ways to go, you know? Aside from, like, death by snoo stew. You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, question 10. Last question of the game. Here it is. What is this a list of? Level 2. Level 3. Eh? Eh? Level 4. I don't think this will help. If you don't know, then you don't know. Level 5. I've seen it, but I never remember the name. Yeah. Most people are not very familiar with the name. The official name of this painting is Portrait de l'artiste sur le trait du moqueur by Joseph de Croix from 1793. I mean, that's what's up. So most people are familiar with this meme from this particular macro over here. Yeah, disregard wenches, acquire currency. But this is the original painting right here. This is the OG right here. That's what's up. So Joseph de Croix was a French noble, portrait painter, pastelist, miniaturist, and engraver. He's most famous for the portraits that he made, and specifically these like weird ones, especially his like self-portraits over here. So he's done a bunch of like portraits of pretty famous people, including Louis XVI and his general sort of congregation. But in the 1780s and 90s, including one in 1783 in which he painted himself in the middle of a large yawn, as depicted right here. In another, Portrait de l'artiste sur le trait du moqueur, the artist guffaws and points at the viewer in a very mimetic sort of style. Unsung hero Joseph de Croix, mostly known for the memes, but still, a legend in my heart. Or very just self-obsessed. No, I think it's more just like he painted himself because he'd be the only one willing to make those poses. Imagine it is the late 18th century, right? Because he died in 1802. Like, it's the late 18th century. Everyone's super serious, and everyone like cares about their reputation to the point of farcity. Try to convince some other noble person to just stand there and go like this for 4 hours. It's not gonna happen, dude. Anyway, my friends, that is it. That is our last question of part 2 of this episode of Name That List. Thank you very much for playing. I hope you had some fun times, and I hope that you learned something as well. You know, we're trying to make this program both entertaining and educational, so hopefully you get a little bit of the best of both worlds. That is how it is. Either way, I look forward to seeing your final scores in chat or in the comments down below. Otherwise, I guess that's it. I hope you had a good time, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this format as well. I think this was like more or less a success, generally. It needs a bit of tweaking here and there, but I feel like in the future you'll be seeing more purely visual episodes of Name That List! Da-da-da-da! Thank you very much for playing, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. This episode of Name That List is concluded, but stay tuned for future episodes. Like and subscribe if you like this content, or just out of compulsion, whatever you feel. Just like and subscribe, please! Just fucking do it! No, it's fine. Either way, hope you have a good time, and I'll see you next time on Name That List! See, it's funny because at this point the music actually just stops, and so it's funny because I'm dancing to nothing. It's like, I'm dancing to the silence. It's also funny that I'm explaining the joke as I'm sort of performing the joke at the same time. It's like a form of deconstructionist comedy, wherein I'm trying to get sort of pity points from expressing how unfunny this joke is by sort of milking it to its logical conclusion. And now I'm just kind of hoping that the awkwardness is going to be funny for some people, but I'm realizing now that I'm breaking the awkwardness by continuing to talk and over-explaining that aspect of it as well. And now I'm kind of hoping that maybe we'll kind of break into the uncanny valley of the joke is once again funny because I'm kind of going into 3 different layers of irony at this point. Anyway, you get that.